Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined on this wonderful Wednesday by Johnny Venerable. Johnny, we're on a bit of a heater, might I say.
Yeah. I'm going to take credit as I started it. And have gone subsequently 7 for my last 8, including the 4 for 4 yesterday. You are, let's call it what it is, riding my coattails a little bit, but you had a nice evening. You had a nice evening yourself last night. So, we had gone through kind of the muck of February where specifically your boy was not faring too well on the betting scene. I will say that I feel like a lot of that has to relate to our schedules. You were out for the Senior Bowl. I left for the Combine. You've been at the Pac-12 tournament. Now you're leaving again. I'm worried that now we have our mojo back. You're abandoning me on the show, and I hopefully can survive on my own.
So what you're saying is that we are best when together.
We are, as much as it pains me. It makes me want to vomit when I think about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, last night going 4 for 4. Easy. That was one of the easiest.
Yeah, it was an easy slate for sure.
Of recent memory. The Suns are a freight train from hell. They destroyed the Pelicans at home, 131-115. We're going to keep that train going. I've made up a bunch of rules for the second half of the season where I'm going to take the Suns even as heavy favorites, and I'm going to never bet on the Lakers again. I also thought the Pistons plus 13 was great value because I feel like the Heat, we talked about it, running out of gas, a little bit of fraudulent. And the Pistons are playing better, scrappier than people think. And then the Grizz destroyed the Pacers, really showed you the difference between the elites in the West and kind of some fringe fun teams in the East. Subsequently got their ass beat by 30-plus points. And then the coup de grace, the bon appetit on the evening. Kyrie Irving going off for fucking like 40 points in the first half. Of course, anytime I'm looking at the ticker and I see Brooklyn as the away team, I know I can check mark all the Kyrie props. He's playing really good basketball right now. Now, when he eventually comes back and has to play the home games, we'll see if it starts to water down his approach a little bit. They destroyed the Orlando Magic by 42. It wasn't even that close. It was the easiest 4 for 4 I've had since probably the NFL season.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving was, I think, 12 of 19 or 14 of 19 in the first half. Just ridiculous numbers. It's good for the NBA when he's playing well, I will say. That team is terrifying if the mandate ever gets lifted. And
it feels like we're trending that way. Like they're close to having that like to come to fruition, I feel like.
Yeah, it's getting scary. We'll get into my picks from last night. Wyoming money line wasn't free. They just couldn't get the ball in the basket in the first half, and they were just trying to scrap back the entire time. Indiana ended up going on an 8-2 run to close the first half, and that kind of ended the game. It was 6 points the entire game. But Brooklyn first half was the most free bet of all time. Oh my God, I never felt scared. And then the Miami-Detroit game got a little scary in the first quarter, and then they combined for like 35 points in the second, and that went under really easily. So we love that. And then going on to my props, this was something special. Devin Booker in the third quarter had 24, and they were up by like 12. And
Devin Booker, they were going to sit him.
So Devin Booker always sits at the start of the fourth quarter. And what is happening lately with the Suns is when they're up big, they want to spread the lead when they have their bench guys in because they don't want the starters they want them to be rested. And they've been succeeding at that. And Book hit a 3 with 4 seconds left in the third, and I lost it. And everyone in the Suns crew was like, why are you freaking out? It's only the third quarter. I'm like, he's not coming back in. And he ended up not coming back in, finishing with 27. So we love that. And Jackson Hayes had like 14 points and rebounds with 3 minutes to go, and I was scrambling producing the Suns show, so I didn't watch the last 3 minutes of the game. I guess he did something because he ended with like 20. I don't really know how. So we love that. A nice 8 for 9 day for the boys. We're back on our horses, and we're moving.
I will give you credit with 2 of your 3 notches last night being props is not an easy thing to do, or 4 of your 5. That Devin Booker one felt like free money. But we talked about it throughout the length of the season. Like sitting players in the fourth quarter for these elite teams is a real thing, and we've been burned more often than not. We have not been burned typically of a player underperforming. They
Yeah.
usually overperform, and then they ride the bench in the fourth
Yep.
quarter, or they barely play, and we get screwed out of money in the process. So I always feel like that's like a stake to the heart when that happens, because you're right. They're
Yeah.
on projection to I mean, Devin Booker probably would have had he stayed in the entire game, probably would have had close to 35, 40 points.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the risk of betting on the NBA, especially early in the season. But now, hopefully, especially as we get closer and closer to postseason basketball, I mean, guys are going to be expected to play 4 quarters because there's championship gold on the line. So you can't subsequently take fourth quarters off. You can do that in mid-March. You can't do that in May or June.
Yeah, we'll get to this near the end of the show. We'll be answering these questions throughout the show. So if you guys ever have any questions about March Madness, drop them in the comments. Charles asks, filled out a bracket last night on a whim and ended up with Auburn as my winner. How good should I feel about that? I love Auburn.
2 seed, yeah.
Yeah, Auburn is one of those teams that always shows up in March, and they have a lot of veteran talent on the roster. Their path, I'm going to double check, but I think it's not terrible.
Okay.
It's not like a U of A where they just got absolutely screwed with the draw. So Auburn is in the Midwest. Oh my God, yeah, I love this. I love them to get into the Final Four. You have the worst 4 seed in the tournament in Providence in the Midwest. Who's going to get
Everybody thinks Providence is a huge fucking fraud. By the way,
even the bookmakers, it's a 2-point spread on a 4-13 game. You would probably play USC in the second round, which is a little scary, but I could see Miami winning that game in the first round as well. And then your number 1 seed in the Midwest is the most fraudulent team in college basketball in Kansas. I think Auburn, given the chance in the Elite Eight, would run all over Remy Martin and the Jayhawks. Sorry, Remy. But yeah, I think Auburn has a pretty easy path, probably the easiest path to the Final Four. The only thing I could see is Wisconsin upsetting them, but even Wisconsin sometimes just doesn't want to show up. And they're really heavily carried by one guy on that team. So I don't know. You would really have to just hope that Jonathan Davis doesn't go for 50 against them. But I like Auburn a lot in this tournament, and putting some coin in the DraftKings Sportsbook on that to win it all. I'm going to find those odds exactly. But you can do that, or you can just bet on the actual games. Auburn to reach the Elite Eight is minus 130, and to win the entire thing is plus 1,200. So I love those, and you can get those odds on the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. You can get crazy odds throughout the whole week. There's some really fun tournament specials they have, like who's going to get farther, Villanova or Duke, UCLA or Houston. There's Final Four props, there's seed props, how many seeds are going to reach the Final Four, or how many number 1 seeds are going to reach the Final Four exactly. It's just a really good time, and that's why March Madness is my favorite thing about it, because there's so many things. But right now, you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. You can bet just $5 on any team to win their game in the tournament. Get $200 in free bets if they do. It's just that simple. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and most of all, you can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. So if you want to throw all your coin on South Dakota State and they win and they get you that plus money upset, you can withdraw that immediately. And yeah, just use that promo code PHNX when you sign up and bet you $5 on any college hoops team to win their game. Get $200 in free bets if they do this week only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Okay, we'll get into our predictions for the tournament near the end of the show. But for now, let's talk about some NBA tonight.
We're gonna ride this horse.
Yeah,
we're gonna ride it until we get bucked off of it, because we're on flipping fire, and we're gonna start in the Western Conference tonight as the Nuggets, who are having a sneaky great second half to the season. They've covered, I believe, in 3 of their last 4 outings. Now they get a bad Wizards team, albeit on the road. I believe that's a tip-off at 4 p.m. tonight. I think they win by double digits. I am going heavy favorites for the second consecutive day. 76ers have not looked good in their last 3 outings, and they certainly haven't covered recently either. This is a layup. 2.5 favorite at Cleveland. I think they win handsomely. At some point, these shots are going to start falling again for James Harden. We knew a lull was going to come for the 76ers after they acquired him, and they started off just lightning fast. They lost a couple in a row. They lost to the Rockets the other day. Not a good look. I think they bounced back. They beat the Cavaliers tonight. Everybody is selling their Sixer stock. The Cavaliers are not world beaters. It's a nice story. The Sixers are legitimate contenders. Everybody has forgot. It's been like a 5-day period. Everybody forgot how good they are.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to roll with the Suns against that 17-win Rockets team as an 11. I believe you can get them an 11.5 point favorite right now. We mentioned it. Devin Booker did not play the majority of the fourth quarter last night. I think they roll. They are beating teams on average now. So the teams that they're supposed to beat, they're handling them by 15 plus. Again, the only way you get into some trouble is if they pull starters again. I don't think that's going to happen at Houston. I think they win handsomely.
Yeah, the Sixers won. The line is like that because Embiid is questionable, and I still like it.
Harden can win that game by himself.
Yeah, I picked that as well. But yeah, Darius Garland is good for 9 and 11 assists every night, but it just depends if Evan Mobley wants to show up, and if Embiid doesn't play, it could get a little scary. But regardless, as I said, I still like it, so I'm riding with the Sixers -2.5 as well. And then a Hornets money line sneaking its way in there.
Okay.
In mid-March, the Hornets are one of those teams, as I've said many times, that just sometimes play really well and sometimes don't. It's a pick 'em right now. It's -110 now in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I got it at +100 this morning. But they're playing the Hawks at home. The Hawks, I'm expecting a big game from Trae Young. I like the over in this, even though it's at 240. I still like the over because there's going to be a lot of points to be had. So I'm taking the Hornets money line and probably the over. But then here's my last one. I've been going first halves a lot recently, and that's only because of what we've talked about is when things kind of fall apart in the fourth quarter. And nothing falls apart more than the Lakers when they play. The Timberwolves might be up by 20 at halftime and only win this game by 8. They're favored by 9 points tonight, so that's why I'm a little scared. The over on this one is 242 as well. So you're expecting no defense. And we'll get into my props later, but I'm expecting a big game from Cat. I know you're expecting a big game from LeBron. So
I am.
Yeah, I'm taking the first half -4.5. These do me well usually. You don't really have to sweat them that much. Knock on wood. But
knocking on wood.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the first half spread for the T-Wolves tonight against a Lakers team that has basically given up besides LeBron. It's pretty gross to watch.
That's why we're going to roll with a LeBron heavy prop tonight. You want to just dive right into those, Shano. He and Karl-Anthony Towns, your boy, I think easily both eclipsed 30 points. That's why that number is only +275. LeBron is going after the scoring title because there's nothing left to play for. They're not winning games. They are winless after the All-Star break unless LeBron scores 50 or plus points. So LeBron can go for 30, 35, 40. It will not remedy the outcome of the game one way or the other. It won't matter. So he's all about me right now, and Towns is playing some of his best basketball of his career. So I love that. I also like Kevin Durant. No Kyrie. And if you saw the other night what Kyrie Irving did, and Kevin Durant went on Twitter, basically boosted about how great Kyrie Irving is. Yeah. Now it's time for KD to get his tonight. I think he goes for 39.5, 40 points at +550. They are trying to send a message to the rest of the Eastern Conference. And when his running mate isn't there, and what the hell, we don't know what's going on with Ben Simmons, KD can dominate the shots. He can dominate time of possession, walking the ball up court, dictate everything offensively for them. +550, I think. Grab that right now. He could be the top scorer tonight in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm just a big fan of the Nets team to watch. They're like a league pass team to me. The Hornets are obviously one of those teams that I like to watch all the time, but especially the Nets right now. They're just fun because they're very star heavy. They're much carried by their firepower on the superstar front, and when that's not happening, Patty Mills needs to score 30. So it's always fun to watch those games. I got 2 props for you as well. Excuse me. Cat over 39.5 points and rebounds. We saw what he did the other night. I think he does somewhat the same against a Lakers team that doesn't really have much down low. LeBron, I can see LeBron getting pissed.
What about my guy AD? Oh wait, he's never coming back.
I can see LeBron getting angry a couple times because of offensive rebounds given up to Cat. Cat extending from the 3-point line because nobody wants to play defense, nobody wants to run. Taking that over 39.5 points rebounds, he might get that with just points. And then Trae Young, as I said in that game, the Hornets and Hawks game, there's going to be no defense. Him and LaMelo Ball are going to pull up from 30 feet like multiple times tonight. And I like his over at 28.5 points. I think this is free. I love this pick so much. So taking these two to the bank. And let me know if you guys have any questions about March Madness before we get out of here. Johnny, do you have anything you want to plug? Go PHNX.com.
Well, just the continuation of the Cardinals' inactivity here in NFL free agency. They did make their first move of the offseason, signing former Minnesota Viking first-round pick corner Jeff Gladney. We're going to talk about that today, PHNX Cardinals Live. We're also going to have Keith from the Draft Network to talk about some of his favorite prospects this draft season, talk about where the Cardinals are susceptible, what holes can they fill. That's today, PHNX Cardinals Live. Keith, myself, and the GM, Saul Bookman, before he goes bon voyage with you to no, he's not going with you. Yeah. You're going to Vegas.
He's going with Mike Luke.
He's going with Mike Luke to the NCAA
San Diego.
Tournament. Yes, San Diego.
Yeah,
you guys travel so much, I get confused.
Yeah. You want some good content, you want some good merch, head over to PHNX.com. Get this. You can get a free t-shirt for just under $60 if you get an annual membership, and you can get your first month for just 50 cents if you want to, as Johnny says, dip your toe in the water. Always good content getting pumped out. And before we get out of here, we got one question. Tennessee Final Four. Johnny, what do you think about that?
No, I do not see that happening.
Really?
A couple of the teams that I like, sneaky dark horses for the Final Four. I'm going to go my Midwest roots, and I think Iowa's a 5 seed, can get there. They've been one of the best teams in the country since early February. If you're asking me, a legitimate team with a star in Keegan Murray, I think they're a team right now. If you can get good odds on them making the Final Four as a 5 seed, a sneaky, like when Duke's a 2 seed and Iowa's a 5 seed, tells me that the committee's not paying attention because Duke is trash at best. Duke should be a 3 or 4 seed. Iowa is one of the best teams in the country for upwards of the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, right now on DraftKings, you can get them plus 330 to make the Final Four. Tennessee is also plus 330.
Hell yeah. Excuse my language.
I love Tennessee to make the Final Four just because of how, kind of like the Kansas route, they have Arizona. We'll say they'll have to get through, but they've already shown that they can beat Arizona once. Arizona, I've watched live a couple times, and my God, are they really talented. But they're not world beaters. They're really good, but they're not like a fucking...
Their floor is, I think, Sweet 16. Like most people expect them to get to the Sweet 16, but you're telling us that their ceiling might also be Sweet 16. Like they're not a 1 seed that's guaranteed to
this
get
team
to
can win the Natty 100%. They can,
even without their point guard,
even without Kirk Kriisa, which I think he still comes back. But I just the way this team plays, sometimes they have slow starts, and that's the last thing you want in the NCAA tournament. That's their biggest problem this year, is how slow they start games. So yeah, I don't know. I think Tennessee can jump on top of them in the Elite Eight and really make some Wildcats fans sad. As I said, they already beat them once this year. So Tennessee Final Four, I do like. As I said, you can get that at plus 330 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So I got one sleeper that I want to talk about to win the whole thing, and it's only because I did this once with them, and teams like this are so fun to bet on and watch in the NCAA tournament. I would probably take them to make the Final Four rather than winning the whole thing, but the odds are just so damn good. You can get Texas Tech to win the whole thing at plus 2,200. Texas Tech is a team I rode with when they got to the finals and ended up losing after they beat Michigan State in the Final Four. They lost to Virginia, I believe. I rode them. I picked them to make the championship in that tournament. It was because of how good they were on defense, but they could also get buckets when you need them. And they're also very experienced. They're the same team like that this year, just 4 years down the road or whatever it's been. I really like this team. So I'm gonna sprinkle some money on them to at least make the Final Four on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. But you can get them to win the whole thing at plus 2,200. To make the Final Four, you can get them at plus 450. So yeah, some nice money there. Johnny, do you have any sleepers besides Iowa?
I like UCLA probably more than people, even though the Pac-12 is terrible. I do like University of Illinois as a 4 seed. I think they're undervalued, especially as they peed down their leg last year. They I think have a bigger chip on their shoulder. We were talking about a couple frauds before the show. Providence is a big time fraud. Consistently feel like Kansas and Duke are two of the weaker 1 and 2 seeds of recent memory. I feel like this could be the year where a lot of the top seeds go down early because there is so much parity between seeds like 4 and 8 this year than ever before. I do not think we're going to have a powerhouse Final Four with a bunch of 1 and 2 seeds. So take that for what it's worth. But no, I am prone because I grew up in Illinois to stick with a lot of my Midwestern roots. So I like Iowa and Illinois to make a run.
Yeah, one fun thing you can do on DraftKings is bet on the over/under win totals per conference. You can get the Pac-12 at over 5.5 right now,
Ooh,
at
okay.
just under even money at -125, which basically just means that both UCLA and Arizona make the Elite Eight at least,
Could
or
definitely see that happening. UCLA has the horses, absolutely.
or UCLA loses to Baylor in the Sweet 16 and U of A makes the Final Four. Or you can take the under if you want to be like me, because I don't believe in Arizona. But that's just because I'm an ASU fan. So take what I say for granted. Guys, it's been a pleasure. As always, I will be MIA for the rest of the week. Johnny, you hold down the fort. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm going to Vegas tonight for an actual.
You basically
vacation.
live in Vegas. Are you?
I'm going for a vacation
there?
this time. I'm going for a vacation. I'm not going for work. So I'm really excited. I might get a nice massage, but a legal one. In Vegas. So get nice, relaxing, lay out by the pool, wake up at 9 a.m. and watch basketball all day. So I'm stoked.
Enjoy it.
Anything else before we get out of here?
PHNX Cardinals live today at 3 p.m. Be there. We'll be back tomorrow.
Vermont as a sleeper.
No, but Vermont, lovely vacationing spot, has tremendous skiing. But no, they're a quick one and done for me, Ransom Klinger.
I think they'd beat by UConn. I think they win the first round. I just think they get beat by UConn. I don't mind it though. They are a fun team to watch. If you haven't seen Vermont basketball, definitely tune into that game when they square off against Arkansas. Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. What time is PHNX Cardinals live?
It's at 3 p.m. today. Sucka, myself, Keith from the Draft Network. Love Keith. Excited about having him on. Saul Bookman's there, per usual. We got some haps. Max Williams, Jeff Gladney to the Cardinals. Chandler Jones makes me sad. 3-year deal, $50+ million to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. MIA pass rush for Arizona. We don't have any. Maybe Shannon line up at edge rusher next year. Who knows?
I would be electric. I would just be loud, I think. I'd just scream at the quarterback, literally like, not like run. Okay, you can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. PHNX Cardinals live at 3 p.m. right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. As I said, follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. And Johnny will be back here tomorrow at noon every day, Monday through Friday. Peace, love, and PRA.